Hello, everybody. It is Teany Hidalgo, and I am here with Beatriz. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you on, and I'm excited to have you guys learn all about her. We're going to get into the beautiful details about who she is and what she does in a moment. But I just wanted to welcome you all today and every Thursday. It is your weekly dose of high vibe and forward thinking and revolutionary content that encourages you to discover the passions that lead you to your purpose. And I am your host, Teany Hidalgo. So before we get into who our lovely guest is today, I just want to make sure that all the tech is working on Facebook. If you are online, make sure that you comment below and say hello from wherever that you're from. And as we go along in the interview, feel free to ask questions. We love questions, and our guests love to give answers. So, right, Beatriz?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. And she's got so much to tell you guys. So let's get started, shall we? All
Yes.
right. So let me give you a little background on who Beatriz is. She is a life and executive coach who is very passionate about helping her clients realize their potential while increasing joy and harmony in their lives. And who doesn't want that, right? She's also a brain aneurysm survivor and a member of the body positive movement. Okay. And the way that she helps people is by helping them connect with their intuition and wisdom through a bodily awareness coaching process that she calls Embody Joy. This coaching process allows her clients to connect with their true desires, which are translated into goals and strategies that bring about sustainable results in their personal lives. So thank you, Beatriz, for joining us. I'm so excited to get into the details of all that.
Thank you for having me.
All right, cool. So don't forget, you guys, to comment below as we go along. And if you have questions for her, feel free to type afterwards, and I'll definitely get the questions to her. So let's begin. I want you to talk about your journey because, I mean, you're a life and executive coach now, but that's not where you started.
No, and actually, I do have a lot of other interests and things I do. But when it comes to coaching, coaching was a progression. I am an absolute behavioral science nerd. I did my bachelor's in psychology. I have always been absolutely fascinated about human behavior. And coaching felt like um, a great way to provide a service and to help people um, achieve the goals that they have in life. Um,
Sure.
I actually, like I said, I did my bachelor's in psychology, and I had the ambition of actually becoming a PhD in psychology. Life happened. I ended up, getting my master's actually in public administration, and I have and developed a career in the nonprofit sector. But I always had that hunger of being able to provide one-on-one support to people and help them achieve their goals and dreams. So
Love it.
when I learned about coaching, and I learned what was involved and what could be achieved through the support of a coach, I jumped right on.
All right. I love it. I love it. And this is one thing that I love to tell people because there is no straight path to discovering what you love, right? Sometimes you even know in advance, right? Like you really had a thing for psychology, and life coaching and life and psychology is like hand in hand. But sometimes life takes us through other paths. But we always end up coming back to where we were meant to be, right? Which is exactly what happened to you. So let's talk about some of the pivot points because I know it sounded all sweet and great, but I know that these journeys don't always turn, kind of carry through that way. So what were some of the pivot points that you encountered along the way?
Well, actually, I became a coach after I divorced my first husband. That was in 20. I got divorced in 2010, and I
Mm-hmm.
became a coach in 2011. And the reason why I became a coach is because, like I said, I love behavioral science, but also because I realized after I separated and moved on and lived on my own that throughout my marriage, I had lost my sense of self, and I wasn't being authentic. I learned at a very early age to accommodate my behavior to please the people around me. My parents got divorced when I was 7 years old. That was another pivot point. Um,
Yeah.
And when you are a child of a broken family, you become a very pleasing child. At least that was my experience. So I would modify my behavior in ways that would please either my dad or my mom, depending on who I was with at the moment, to sort of keep the peace and keep everybody happy. I got married at the age of 21, very early,
Very young.
and I thought I was a grown up, but I wasn't. And I got divorced when I was 33, and I realized that the same behavior that I had learned when I was a child to keep my parents happy was the behavior I was engaging in as
Mm.
a wife. I was basically adjusting everything about myself um, based on whatever reaction my ex-husband was having. Um,
Makes
so,
sense.
so I did a lot of personal development work myself, and I pursued coaching as a way to support other people that were pursuing personal development and hoping to connect with their authentic selves.
Yeah. So did you find that that kind of lit the fire for you? And then it was like, oh my gosh, I have to help since you help yourself. Because, you know, when you go into coaching, and by the way, for those of you who go into a coaching program of any kind, a lot of times people go into these programs just to help themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not necessarily to help other people. These programs are amazing just for a self-help, self-development standpoint, right? But once you get into it and you start seeing the changes in your own life, it's like sharing is caring, right?
Yeah.
You want to give it to the world. Is that how it kind of progressed for you? Like, oh my gosh, I'm changing so much. What can I now help people with, right? That
Well,
I've experienced.
definitely that was part of it. Um, I really believe in the resilience of human beings and in our ability to create our own reality. Um, and I wanted to transfer that to other people. And coaching felt like the right way to do that.
Absolutely. Great. I love that. So how did it become sort of a passion for you? Because, you know, like everybody goes through a lot of different careers, jobs, interests, whatever, you know, how did it turn into like a passion and then eventually like, oh my God, this is it? Like, was there anything that happened that was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this now?
Well, I am passionate about many things.
I
But
can tell that you're a spicy, passionate person.
yeah, I'm passionate about many things, but coaching, like I said, I believe in the resilience of human beings, and I have learned through my interactions with people that I have the ability to be of influence, and I have the ability to touch people in a very special way, and I want to use that in a way that is a way of service. So I just love helping. Um,
Yeah.
and by helping, I actually grow and become better myself. Um, I actually had stopped coaching for a while because I was dealing with some health issues. I was very challenged by fibroids, and I
Mm.
was heavily anemic. And I had to stop coaching for a while because I just didn't have the energy. I was pursuing coaching as a side business, not as my full time work. And I just
Right.
didn't have the energy to go to work and coach and do. I couldn't do anything beyond my 9 to 5 because I was just so weak from the challenges that I was having with my body. Um,
Right.
I had a hysterectomy because that was the best solution that we could find to address my situation. And I started feeling better. And I started thinking, well, I can start reconnecting with things and start pursuing the things that I didn't have the energy to do before. And as
Mm-hmm.
I was getting my energy back, something else happened. That's when my aneurysm happened.
Mm.
I was feeling amazing, and I was just relaxing in bed one night, minding my own business, and I had all of a sudden the worst headache of my life. And um,
Wow.
it really is undescribable. And because I was functional, I didn't go to the hospital right away. Because I was thinking, oh, this is not a stroke because I can move both my arms, I can walk,
Mm-hmm.
I can talk, so it's not a stroke. So it took me, that happened at 9 p.m. and I didn't go to the hospital until the next day at 9 a.m. So it took me 12 hours. So the fact that I'm here talking to you is an absolute miracle.
Wow.
Most people that experience what I experienced, and especially taking that much time to seek help, um, don't make it.
Don't make it, let alone have all the function that you have right now.
Yeah, my situation is really special. More than 50% of people that experience a brain aneurysm rupture die within the first week. And
Wow.
those who survive, and I'm actually part of the community on Facebook of survivors of aneurysms, those who survive have some kind of cognitive or physical impairment. I was my release papers from the hospital after 20 days and 2 brain surgeries
Mm-hmm.
um, said that I was cognitively intact.
Wow.
There was no trauma to my brain from what happened.
So, was there a cause? I mean, at the time, you said you were super happy, things were going great. So, what tipped it off?
Aneurysms are dormant things that could be in your body all your life. It's really crazy. They are these little blisters on your arteries, and you can live your whole life and nothing happens. The real problem with an aneurysm is if it ruptures, especially if it's located in the brain.
Right.
Um, when you have a brain hemorrhage, the bleeding um, the brain reacts like it has acid on it. So that's why it's so dangerous. So no, it's something that unfortunately happens more often to women. It happens mostly to women of color. So those are the 2 risk factors. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't do any of the other things that can be considered risk factors. It was just something unlucky and lucky for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened afterwards? I mean, it's like, what do you want to do? I want to go to Disney World. Like,
Well, I
what
went to
did you do
Paris.
with that?
That's something I did.
You
Um,
went to Paris? All right.
yeah, it came back a couple of weeks ago. After, like I said, I spent about 20 days in the hospital. Most of the time in the ICU. I had 2 brain surgeries. I kept all my hair, which is amazing. They don't shave your head anymore.
Wow.
Um, and the first thing I did when I came out of the hospital was I canceled my Weight Watchers membership. I had been a member of Weight Watchers on and off since I was 20 years old. And the reason why I did that is because I was in absolute awe of how my body took me through 3 surgeries, because I had the hysterectomy in the month of January and I had the aneurysm the first week of March.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 3 surgeries in 3 months,
Wow.
and my body came out of it feeling amazing.
Wow.
I mean, I did
That's
have a headache
amazing.
for a while, but once the headache subsided, I was just back to
Absolutely.
normal.
So
But
that's interesting
decided,
because you would go ahead. Sorry.
no, I just decided to shift the way I was viewing my body and to show the gratitude I felt for my body for taking me through that process.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because you would think, you're coming out of surgery. The first thing people think is, okay, I'm going to be so good. I'm going to eat so good. I'm going to stay in Weight Watchers, exercise every day. Like people go extremes when they experience such, trauma, because really operations are traumatic for the body, right? So how did you turn from that extreme to the opposite extreme, right? Like,
Well, I eat very well and I
right.
exercise every single day. But now
Amazing.
I do it with feeling good in mind. I no longer eat or exercise because I want to change what my body looks like.
Right.
Now, I was exercising before all these things happened quite regularly. I was dieting all the time. But now I eat what my body wants. So if my body's telling me that it wants some protein, I eat that. If my body tells me that it wants some fruit, I eat that. If I eat something new that I haven't tried before and my body doesn't like it, I won't eat that.
Yeah.
You know, if it tastes really good, I may eat it again, but not that often. So I let my body, and that's what I mean by body center consciousness. I
Yeah.
let my body tell me what it wants. I also do movement that my body wants to do. You know, sometimes when we're trying to lose weight, we force ourselves to do activities because, you know, the trendiest workout, CrossFit, burpees, whatever, that's what everybody's doing. And you challenge yourself to do those things, but sometimes your body doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I joke. I have a joke now that burpees are against my religion. I don't it's not good for my
They are very painful. I've done that.
my body just doesn't like that stuff. But my body loves dancing. I just became a
Yeah.
certified Zumba instructor.
Woohoo.
I have a lot of passions. My body loves dancing. Before our live today, I went to the gym and I got a very good and satisfying hour of Zumba.
All
My body
right.
loves walking. I just learned to swim in my 40s. I went from
Nice.
not swimming at all to being a mediocre swimmer, which is great. I can say I'm a swimmer.
Right.
I love one of my favorite activities is biking with my husband. We find it like really romantic to, you know, ride our bikes side by side. I love
I
coming off
love
the
that.
train, especially on a day like today, a beautiful day, coming off the train a couple of stops early. So I have a commitment to myself to do an hour of continuous movement every day. And that movement can be at the gym, or that movement can be walking or dancing or whatever it is. But I do it because movement, having that honoring that commitment of movement makes my body feel good.
Yes.
Eating the way my body wants. Yesterday, I had a crazy appetite. I ate a lot. Today, my body didn't want as much food.
Mm-hmm.
And if we listen to what our body wants, our body is never wrong. If we're fully connected to
Absolutely.
our body. And because now I'm completely in tune with my body, I have the energy to pursue all my interests. Yes, I am a coach. And now I'm becoming a Zumba instructor. I sing in choir at church. I do a lot of different things. I paint, I dance, I do a lot of different things. And I finally feel that my body can keep up with my desires. Not only can my body keep up with my desires, my body supports my desires.
Yes. So let's get into this a little bit because I'm a big advocate of personal signs, right? Now
Mhm.
you've had synchronicities and things that's happened in your life that has led you to where you are. But personal signs for you in terms of your body, right? Because
Mhm.
those are the signs that people probably ignore the most. They'll probably look at like, oh, it's 11:11, that means something. Or they look at everything outside of themselves, but it's really hard for people to kind of listen to their inner selves, right?
Mhm. No,
So, yeah.
no, I was gonna say I was so bad at listening to my body that it took me 12 hours to take it seriously. I had the worst headache of my life. I had a stiff neck. I was throwing up all night, and I
Wow.
wasn't taking it seriously.
Insane. Insane. So if there's any advocate for listening to your body, that story is absolutely one of those. Adita Cruz says, great interview and excellent concepts, well applied. Absolutely. It's so important and crucial. And along with that, you know, you didn't follow like what probably your gut was telling you, right? Which is I should probably go to the doctor, right?
Yeah, no,
Your intuition
I
and all those things.
questioned it. I didn't want to create any trouble. Um, yeah, I didn't want to be a pain. I didn't want to make my husband go through the hospital with me. Um, I was probably thinking that I was worrying a little too much, that it wasn't that serious.
Right,
I was
right, right.
doubting myself and rationalizing it while I was going through it.
Right, absolutely. So now that you're helping people with, you know, what you're doing in terms of their body consciousness, what's like the main thing that you tell people as they start being more conscious and being more observant and being more mindful of like what's going on with themselves? What are the things that you tell them?
Well, my process, the embodied joy process, is about connecting with your body first. In our society, we value greatly our minds and we value greatly our spirit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to the body, we only see the body, especially for us women, we see the body as a commodity, as something that's supposed to look pretty, and something that's supposed to be pleasing to the male gaze or female gaze if you're gay, but not as something necessarily utilitarian and not as a key component of who we are as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And we underestimate its value and its importance. So the first thing I tell my clients is to elevate the role of the body in their lives. Like I have another joke that I have is that I fired my brain as the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
My brain still has a job. Don't feel bad for my brain. My brain is my project manager, but my CEO now is my gut.
Yeah,
Whatever the gut says, we do. And
absolutely.
when I deviate from it, I suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
So the first thing is elevating the place that the body has in our lives, in their lives. Then the second thing is changing how we view our body. I basically break my process into three stages. The first stage is reconciliation because a lot of us have had a breakup or a disconnect
Mm-hmm.
from our body. The second is embodiment, which is after we reconciliate with our bodies, just connecting with it and learning to communicate with our body. And the final stage is joy. Once you learn how to fully communicate with your body and you learn how to treat it and how to care for it, your creativity and your energy increases exponentially. And the sky is the limit. Um,
Absolutely.
I rarely get tired.
Yeah. Well, now the joy is coming from the inside, whereas most
Mhm.
people expect the joy to come from external, right, factors.
Mhm.
So who inspired you along this journey? Because I mean, it sounds like there's been a lot of these pivot points that were very traumatic for yourself, mentally, physically. There's a lot of that, right? So who inspired you and who kind of helped you along the way? Has there been anyone?
A lot of people actually. When I think about it, when I was back in college, my professor Donna Chirico, that was my psychology professor, was one of the most inspiring and beautiful human beings I ever met. She's
Awesome.
still in my life somewhat. Um, I became her stalker. I think I took a total of 6 classes in college with her. That's how in love I was with her teaching and with the things I was learning from her. And when I was graduating, I I didn't know if I was gonna pursue the PhD, and I was feeling a little lost. And she just grabbed me and said to me, "I see you as a leader. I see you running organizations." And she really elevated my expectations of myself. So she was a very important person in my life when it came to um, elevating my expectations of myself and
Absolutely.
accessing my potential.
It's amazing to find teachers that not only are they good at what they do and how they teach, but they also motivate their kids, right? You know, they're people who are teaching. My mom is similar to that. She's always like, I always want to inspire these kids, you know, because maybe they don't get it at home, right? But in your case, like she really wanted to inspire you with your career, with your life pursuits, right? Like it's such an amazing thing that she did.
Hmm.
Awesome.
And I had there was a woman when I was growing up that I actually worked with her for a little bit because I was going to be a fashion designer. I told you I have a lot of passion.
Hey,
And when I was a teenager, and I was still back in Dominican Republic. I wanted to be a fashion designer, and I was working it was sort of an internship with She's a designer and a seamstress. Her name was Mirta, and she was just like the boldest, loudest, happiest woman I had ever met. She was just in love with life and in love with herself. And this was a larger body woman. And I had grown up, with all these messages about how to be happy you needed to fit the beauty standard. And this woman didn't fit the beauty standard, and she was absolutely happy all the time. So she broke a little bit, because I still had that belief system until recently, but she broke that a little bit. She showed me that a woman can choose to be happy, and that a woman can celebrate her life and be proud of who she is and be confident no matter what sucks.
Did she ever tell you like what inspired her to be that way? Because I'm sure that she had the same social backlash, right? Like maybe you're not that pretty and all those things. What got her to be that way? What
No,
inspired
I
her?
was young. I was maybe 16 when I was working with her, even though I did get in touch with her recently again. I don't know. She just had a joy that, came out of
Just
her gut.
just an innate, passionate person. I love those.
Yeah. I recently got in touch with her. She's now a grandma, and she still has, she's still in her marriage, and her husband was always madly in love with her. And he's a conventionally good-looking guy. And like I said, she broke all the training, all the social training that I had. She showed me that it was possible for a woman that didn't fit into the mold to be joyful and happy and have a wonderful relationship and family.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so moving on, was there anything along the way that sort of became a personal drawback for you, or blocks or people that showed you like, wait, you shouldn't be doing that? Like, was there anything that, attempted to block your way to what you're doing today?
Mm, hmm. I don't think I had any direct blocks. I think that based on my history and the messaging I may have received in childhood, and a little bit of the messaging I got as an adult, but I think most of my hang-ups and limitations came from the things I received in childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the things that limit me were limiting beliefs. I was, of course, limited by the physical challenges that I had when I wasn't feeling healthy and energetic. Um, and the biggest limitation I think I have had is believing that I'm non-deserving or good enough. Even when good things have come into my life, I question them, because what did I do to earn it?
Right.
And I'm in a very different place now. I no longer feel that way. I do regress a little bit every once in a while, but I pull myself out. I
Well,
get
now you know all the tools, right?
Yeah, I have the tools. I actually had a little bit of a regression actually last week. So I told you I went to Paris. It was amazing,
I'm sure.
but jet lag is real. Like jet lag is real, and my body was out of whack for a little bit, and I was trying to get my sleep patterns back to normal. Traveling and being in airports and things like that. I also caught a little bit of a cold, so I had the jet lag and a cold, and I was also working on a time sensitive project. So as soon as I came back, I needed to concentrate and focus on that project. Um, and I allowed myself to go into my head. Since my body wasn't feeling well because of the transition and the cold, I disconnected from it.
Yeah.
And what that led to was to um, me not being my most creative self, me being too rigid in my thinking. And I actually ended up having conflict with some of the people that I was working on this project with, which I haven't bumped heads or had conflict in a very long time because I go into my gut, I check in, I'm able to empathize with the other person, I'm able to sense what's going on, I'm able to connect with the right path so I can actually avoid any kind of challenges. But since I was not connecting with my body at all, I was just focusing on the task at hand and I was not necessarily connecting with the people that I was collaborating with.
Wow.
Um, and it was very interesting. I felt like I regressed like 10 years in 1 week of disconnecting from my body. So what I did is first I apologized to the people that I was rude to, and I went back to my structure, like working on my movement and my nutrition and my sleep and my grounding exercises to reconnect with my body. And this week is a completely different story.
Yeah. What would you say is like if you had to pick one thing to help people get back on track if they're experiencing a bad week? What's the one thing you feel like at least if you had anything, do that?
Well, number one, sleep. I think it's really hard to be clear headed if you don't have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Rest.
what's happening with the jet lag. Sleep is number one. And then number two, silence. Just sitting down, being quiet, um, and just connecting with your bodily sensations and trying to understand what's going on with you. And being very objective. Uh,
Yeah.
Sometimes when things are not working our way, it's really easy to focus on other people and what's happening externally and not see what we're contributing to the situation. Like in this situation that I just used as an example, um, the other people were not moving as fast as I wanted them to, and they were not, meeting my expectations. And I could easily say, oh, they're just lazy, they don't move fast enough, blah, blah, blah. The truth is, maybe my expectations were not realistic, or better said, my expectations were not realistic. Not everybody moves and does things the way I do.
Right.
And I was not providing guidance and support in a clear way. So
Right.
people cannot do what you want or what you need if you don't express it clearly.
Absolutely. And you can't do that unless you have enough rest. Right.
And so until I grounded myself and I was able to be self-reflective and listen to what my body was telling me through its sensations, I, couldn't realize that I was not contributing to the situation. I was actually making it more challenging, a lot more difficult. But I,
Yeah.
got I made amends with the people, got my rest, got back at the gym, and got back my sleep and, connected to myself in silence. Sometimes if silence doesn't work, journaling is a great tool. Just feel things and just a stream of consciousness writing is extremely helpful.
Yeah, I love that. First of all, I want to honor you in your personal truth and sharing your story because, as a coach, people think, "Oh my God, you guys are perfect. You have all the tools. Everything always works out for you. You're always happy," which is so not true. We're human beings, right? And we all experience things. So I appreciate that you were able to tell a recent story even because we all go through it as well. And it can be hard for us too, right? We don't it's easy to talk about and say, but in practice, it takes work, right? So that said, how do you keep mastering what you're doing? Because as always, we all have to master the crafts and the tools and everything that we want to share and we want to bring out into the world too. So how do you keep mastering it?
Well, I have become, except for that week, I've become very disciplined in taking care of my body. Like if I take care of the temple, the house, everything else falls into place. Um, I also see other people as my mirror. So if I'm interacting with you and there's conflict or there's if something is not working well, there may be something in me that I need to change. So I reflect on that and I could make changes accordingly. I also learn a lot. I don't need to experience something to learn from it. I don't need to experience it myself to learn from it. I call myself a social learner. I learn a lot from observing and listening to the experiences of other people. I learn a lot from my coaching clients.
Mm-hmm.
And
I so agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, I learn a huge amount from my coaching clients. And what also one thing that coaching does as a profession is that the the fact that you're a coach and that you're challenging people to elevate themselves and step up holds you accountable. You have to be you have to be that what you're you have to be what you're preaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean you can't have an off day or week.
Um, and, you know, anybody can get up on the wrong side of the bed. And I'm like, I guess, you know, that was an example of I underestimated how much jet lag was going to affect me. I'm
Mm.
like, I'm on top of things. You know, my body and I are in touch, blah, blah, blah. And I felt probably the worst I felt in a very long time. It wasn't awful. I wasn't in bed, but I had been feeling really good. So that, you know, the jet lag plus a little cold, like really threw me off. And I separated. Well, your body are not feeling so nice right now. I created a
Yeah.
little bit of a distance, and that it was an extremely validating experience because it showed me, girl, uh, you learned that you're supposed to be connected to your body and listen to it. You stepped away from it, and look what happened. It wasn't terrible, but it was a tense week, and it created conflict with people that I honestly respect and value.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of space and time after a vacation because of exactly that. I've learned that lesson many times too, that when you come back, it's like you need a break, some space, some sleep, all those things. So I totally appreciate what you're saying. So at this point, like, what do you think are some of the major beliefs that stop people from, well, two things. One, taking care of their bodies and listening the way they should, and two, pursuing what they love from a life perspective, right? Because you're an executive and life coach, but you're also all about embodying your body, like being in your body. So what are the two beliefs you think stop people from those two things?
Well, when it comes to the body, like I said, you know, as a woman, I say this. Sometimes, especially if your body doesn't meet the beauty ideal, we feel non-deserving of caring for our body. Like I said, I was very disciplined with my exercise and diet before, but I was not doing it from the same perspective that I'm doing now. To be honest, I wasn't working out any more or less. Well, I probably am working out more now, but I, as far as the amount of activity is before and after my aneurysm is not different. What
Mm-hmm.
is different is the way I approach activity and how I choose activities based on what my body wants. And same
Right.
thing with food. I ate really good food before, I ate really good food now, but now I eat food based on what my body is asking for. The amount my
Right.
body wants and the type of food my body wants.
Right.
So what I would say to people is that your body is worth caring for no matter what it looks like. And you know, I disclaimer or a little thing to add is I'm thankfully an able-bodied woman. There are people that have like I'm learning a lot from this community of aneurysm survivors. There's people that have physical disabilities and chronic pain, and I'm very blessed not to have that. But even if you have chronic pain, my mother has fibromyalgia. My
Mm.
mom was also somebody who only used to exercise for to change her body, to be skinny, to be thinner. But now my mom is a huge aqua aerobic fan. She
Wow.
makes sure that she goes to the pool several times a week because movement, especially movement in water that is very gentle on her joints, helps her get rid of her. I mean, not 100%, but it alleviates her chronic pain.
Absolutely.
Even if you have a disability, even if you have chronic pain, you can improve the way you feel by taking care of your body. At the pool where I learned to swim, there is a woman that has mobility issues. She is dropped off in front of the pool by Access a Ride, and she takes her walker all the way to the pool, and they lower her into the pool with one of those little machines.
The lifts, yeah.
Yeah, the lift. But when she gets in the pool, don't mess with her. And she actually was like coaching me and teaching me how to swim better when I was going for practice. This woman goes every single day to the pool and does an hour of laps. Non.
Wow.
So she cannot move on land. She can barely move on land. But when she's in the water,
Freedom.
she is unstoppable. And she takes care
Wow.
of her body. She's extremely disciplined. She takes care of her body every single day.
That's amazing.
And I haven't
So
asked her what her motivation is, but I have observed her and looked at her and I'm like, wow, I admire her so much.
I want to know what her motivation is. Come back. Come back and tell us.
I mean, maybe she has pain just like my mother and feels better when she
Yeah.
moves. I don't know.
I think it's the freedom that she gets in the water.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think that's one of the keys for people in general when they want to pursue anything. Like you just want to have the freedom to be you, to do what you love, right? In her case, since she's so
She's
restricted.
almost like
Yeah.
flying.
Exactly. We all
So
wish we could fly.
your body is worth caring for independently of what it looks, independently of its limitations. You're worth the investment. Um, and when you make yourself a priority, and when you are able to challenge yourself physically, and you have the discipline to take care of your body every single day, it's a lot easier to tackle other things in life. I mean, you're a lot more present. Like when I go to a meeting now, when I'm in any kind of professional environment, I'm way more focused than I used to be
Hmm.
because I'm really grounded and comfortable in my body. My body feels good. When you sit in a chair and you feel good, it's a lot easier to pay attention to your environment.
Absolutely.
I'm better able to remember things. My mind is sharper. I'm a lot more creative. And a lot of my clients, report the same thing. As they take better care of their body, they're better able to be present and show up in life. Um, and when you tackle, and when you tackle things that physical things that sometimes feel impossible to you, other things in life become easier. Like I went rock climbing several years ago, and it was actually part of this personal development group that goes hiking. And I climbed a mountain without even thinking about it. I just followed the people and just went up and looked down, and I'm like, well, if I can do this, I can tackle this challenge, that challenge. It's way easier to handle this meeting or this thing than to climb a mountain.
That's for sure.
So yeah,
That's amazing. I love that.
so you're worth it. You are worth the investment, independently of what you look like. The more you challenge yourself and get out of your comfort zone physically, the more you can get out of your comfort zone in your life and your professional environment.
Yeah.
The more present you can be. And there is a huge when you feel comfortable and in full ownership of this beautiful vessel that we have called body, you exude that confidence in any environment where you show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's coming from the inside out.
Hmm.
Very true. I love that. So, what do you think stops people from pursuing what they love?
Um, I think it's very similar to what I have experienced, not feeling deserving, not feeling good enough.
Yeah.
Who am I to want this job? Who am I to want this relationship? Who am I to pursue my creative dreams?
Yeah. So, a self love factor for sure. It's interesting because I always hear, and this is so true, right? when you're in a room of people, people are always thinking about themselves, like, oh my God, do I look good? Is my hair okay? Did I brush right? Did I, do I have food stuck in my teeth? But once you're so comfortable in your own skin and your own body with who you are as a person, then you're able to put everything that's good of you out there in the world, right?
And you're able to be more present in the situation and be able to react in a more productive and grounded way.
Right. Absolutely.
Because
Love
if
that.
you're in your head worrying about your hair, you're not thinking about what's happening around you. You're not thinking about the most creative way to tackle an issue or problem or to, you know, achieve a goal.
Yeah. And you're not being resourceful, right? Because like your
Hmm.
resources are going to like,
Yeah.
am I okay? Versus concentrating on what you're there for, right?
Hmm.
Awesome. All right. So when the shit hits the fan, Beatriz, how do you continue to move forward? Like what happened to you the other week, right? How do you continue to set yourself up for success and how do you get through it?
I had to just get back to my body. I realized like, wow, I've been in my head. I was like all up in here. And
Yeah.
I just, grounded myself. I, connected to the real CEO, my God. I reflected on my interactions with people that week. I evaluated what I needed to, I let my gut tell me, what do I need to do? And my gut was the one that told me, you need to go and make amends to these people. It's not that I wasn't extremely rude, but I was just a little rigid. Like, yeah, next thing, we need to get this done. Um,
Right.
so I apologize about the way I was showing up, and my God was the one that told me to do that. The other people involved in this project did the same thing. As soon as I acknowledged what I was doing to contribute to the conflict, they acknowledged their part too, which was
Mm,
amazing.
that's beautiful.
And we agree on the way that we wanted to communicate moving forward. There were two projects, and they were both executed this week, and they couldn't have gone more perfect. It was excellent.
Wow.
And we ended up without, cutting each other's heads.
Yeah. Sometimes it's interesting, right? Because sometimes chaos leads to peace and resolution a lot of times because,
If I went to my brain, my proud brain will have told me no. You're the lead in these projects. You cannot, apologize or, appear
right.
soft. But my gut told me, no, you need to acknowledge what you're doing wrong. And by doing that, then I got the other people, without even expecting it, the other people acknowledged what they were doing wrong. And we got to a place of agreement and a way to constructively move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And my God told me that. And then after that, I hadn't been that commitment that I have of moving one and at least an hour a day, because I was so tired that week. I was not honoring that commitment, so I returned to my commitment of 1 hour of movement a day, and that basically fixed the jet lag issue. Because when you sweat it out, you sleep like a baby.
Yeah. I
So,
bet.
did some serious food shopping this weekend. Made a indulgent Costco trip, and I got tons of veggies and fruits and things like that. And I call myself a cabinet cook. I'm a big proponent of home cooking. So I went back to the kitchen. I did a lot of cooking this weekend. So, I've been doing my movement, eating my home cooked meals, and checking in with my gut before I have to make any decisions. So I know I'm making the right choice.
All
That's
right.
how
Yes.
we connected.
I love that. So I just want to check in with the audience. If you guys have questions for her, and I'll post it here
Sip a little bit of water.
too. Questions, please type below. Okay. Cool. Hey, Jose. And Adita says, a life coach with real experience. Oops. Hold on. With real experience, amazing survival story. Oh,
Hmm.
very sweet. Okay. So, where were we? So I want you to talk a little bit about the program that you have, because now that we've, gotten into all the nitty details and all the things that have happened to you and how you've, triumphed out of these things, I know you've created a beautiful program that help people do the same. So I'd love to hear some of the details in your Embody program and all the things that you're doing.
So I call my program Embody Joy.
Yeah.
Because it's about true embodiment and connecting with your body, or what I call body-centered consciousness, really connecting with your authentic self and connecting with your joy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I take that process. I take my clients through three different stages, like I mentioned before. The first stage being reconciliation. And the first part of reconciliation is deconstructing the limiting beliefs that we have about our body. You know, we receive, I mean, the diet industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We receive all these messages, telling us how we're supposed to eat, what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to look like. And we go to external sources of information to care for our body. I mean, like I've done everything. I've done Weight Watchers, Whole30, a bunch of different diets. And actually, all those different diets actually help contribute to making my body feel worse and gain
Mm.
weight over time. They actually say that if you never diet, you're more likely to gain weight once you diet than if you never diet at all.
Right. And it's probably the mindset around diet, right? Because diet usually
And it's
means.
the mindset and the damage that you do to your metabolism.
Mm,
When you are in deprivation, your body, your metabolism has to um, lower its ability to burn calories. And when you go back to a normal way of eating, your metabolism is now functioning at a lower level, so it's
right.
more likely to gain weight over time. So
Right. That makes sense.
that's very interesting. They say 98% diets don't work 98% of the time. If we had a car that didn't work 98% of the time, we will never buy
Would never buy
that.
it.
So the first part of the reconciliation process, is deconstructing all these different beliefs and myths that we have about body image and about health. I'm part of a wonderful community called Big Fit Girl. And this is a community of over 5,000 women all over the world. And these are women of all shapes and sizes that are extremely athletic. You have very beautiful, large body women that are triathletes, um,
Yeah. Wow.
that are runners, competitors. Some women are into CrossFit. God bless them. If they want to do their burpees, great. And they're really deconstructing, the myths around what an athletic body is supposed to look like. So deconstructing that, then doing things like what I'm doing. I'm joining different communities, different body positive communities, where I'm learning to appreciate what bodies of all shapes and sizes can do, and
Mm.
appreciate the beauty of all different kinds of bodies, and learn how different people are taking care of their health without trying to fit into this very limited set of
Mold.
expectations,
Yeah.
molds.
Yeah.
And then the last part of reconciliation is gentle nutrition and joyful movement. It's basically learning to eat uh, for well-being and pleasure. You hear all these messages, oh, emotional eating is bad. All eating is emotional. There's not such a thing as non-emotional eating. Eating connects us to our culture, to our families. I mean, eating and cooking for me is one of the most pleasurable experiences. I love everything. If you see my
Especially home cooking, right?
Yeah, like if you see my Instagram feed, is half of it is pictures of food. I love to cook. I love cutting vegetables. I love plating it. Even though it's at home, I like to present it. Um, like
Yeah.
like if I'm serving it to the King of England, whatever. Um, so because I want to enjoy the full experience. So the last part of reconciliation is connecting to gentle nutrition and joyful movement. Then embodiment. Now that you have made up with your body and that you have reconnected with self-care practices to nurture your body, then learning to connect to your intuition through your body.
Yes.
Um, you know,
So important.
checking in with your gut, and when you meet someone, if you feel uncomfortable, like many times I felt uncomfortable when I met somebody, and I will talk myself out of feeling uncomfortable and be like, no, this person hasn't done anything to you, and eventually, you know, something will show me that my initial reaction was right.
Was right. Yep.
Mhm. So once you make nice with your body, because you're not gonna listen to your body if you don't like it. Do you listen to somebody you don't like, right?
Of course not.
You reconcile and you make nice, then you open the lines of communication with your body, and you learn to connect with it, and let it tell you what you need to do. What time is good for you to go to bed, who is good for you to interact with, what passions you should pursue next, what should you do in this relationship. Your body
Yeah,
will tell you the right answer each and every
I totally agree with that. We have a couple questions for you.
time. Oh,
So
great.
Adita wants to know, how do you feel with a balanced life? That's the first question.
Well, I don't believe in balance. I believe in harmony. Um, and it's actually something I forgot. I stole that from another coach. I don't remember who said it. But balance means that everything is equal, everything is holds the same weight, and harmony is, things move in life based on what you're choosing to prioritize at the moment.
I love that. I'm a huge fan of that. Except I still do call it balance. I just say it's my personal balance. It may not be 50-50. It could be 30, it could be any derivation of that, but it doesn't have to be a perfect split, right? It's whatever makes you feel most in your personal balance.
Mhm.
I love that. Jose says, I love to prepare healthy meals, healthy food too, and bring creativity doing it and being creative doing it, especially doing it with simplicity. I love that.
Yeah, I use mostly the same. I can make like 3 or 4 dishes with the same group of ingredients.
Yeah.
Simple.
It's funny. When I was in college, I would cook the same way. I would use certain ingredients and then I would use it for beans. I would use it for rice and like chicken.
Exactly.
And my friend would say, you are so not creative. You're just using the same ingredient. I'm like, you don't understand. It's the way, the amount that you use. It's this and that. It's the how you cook it. It's so funny. All right. One more question. How long is your program? How many sessions and are you available for lectures?
The length of the program, it changes on the individual, based on the individual. We all are in different stages of our life. Somebody may not necessarily need to go through reconciliation because they may nice with their body. They just need to fine tune it. So it all depends on where the person is at. So it's very client specific. As far as lectures, I'm going to enjoy this summer. But starting in the fall, I'm going to start with a series of workshops. So I'm going to start with my little reconciliation tour. The first series of workshops are going to be focused exclusively on reconciliation. And then, I'll transition to the other stages. So be on the lookout for information on my upcoming event.
Sweet. Is that in New York or are
Yeah,
you
it will
planning
be
to take
here.
it on the road?
Right now, I have no plans to get on the road. But, if somebody wants to sponsor me and take me somewhere, I'll go. But right now,
Florida.
right now, I'm staying in New York.
All right, awesome. Great, great. Okay, so how can people reach out to you and connect with you and where can they find you?
Well, the first place is my website, beatrizmieses.com. I'm also on Instagram and on Facebook. My Instagram is beatrizmieses.coach. And my in Facebook is Beatriz Mieses Coach altogether. And I'm also on Twitter as Beatriz Mieses.
Awesome. Awesome. So I got your website up here. Awesome. So if you guys have more questions, please post below and we'll get them to Beatriz. Find her on beatrizmieses.com. And as you heard, Instagram, Facebook, she's all over social media. So I love that. I'm going to have to like friend you now. I had you. Did I friend you already? I think I did friend you already.
Yeah,
I want
to connected on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I want to look at your food pictures. I love posting food pictures every once in a while. And I always thought, oh, people are so over these food pictures,
I'm a
but I
huge
love them.
Instagrammer. I actually
So
posted my breakfast today.
I love that. I love that. I love good food. And I love colorful food too.
Yes. Yeah, I had some berries, like a little fruit salad with eggs. So that's what I had this morning. Yeah.
I love that. I love adding fruits to the breakfast meals. It's so good. Cool. All right. So any final thoughts before we sign off?
Final thoughts. Well, I had a wonderful time. I really enjoyed talking to you tonight. And I look forward to a world where we just accept ourselves as we are, and we share these amazing, amazing machines called bodies that God has given us, and give these wonderful bodies the care they deserve.
Yes, we only have one, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Only
And
one.
I almost lost mine, and let me tell you, I'm madly in love with it after.
Appreciate it. I know, right? For sure. And all those lovely people that you've run into that just, they love themselves so much in their bodies. It's amazing. I love watching people like that.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Finding a lot of beautiful communities. Yes. I'm
Yes.
actually, no, I don't mean to make a plug, but I'm actually, Fat Girls Dance is a community of women that love dancing, and they're starting a new class in Harlem next Monday. So I will be joining them. I can't wait. I've been a fan through social media for the last couple of years, and I can't wait to become, a fat girl dancer.
Oh, hold on. Fat Girls Dance?
Mm-hmm.
Fat Girls with an S?
Yeah, with an S.
Dance. All right.
Yeah, if you watch their videos on YouTube, they're amazing.
Yeah. I'm a big advocate of movement. I think movement helps on so many levels. I know people who've overcome depression through that. They've overcome anxiety. There's so many things that you can do just by moving your body and moving the energy and, allowing it to just get through you. It's just so amazing. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing your story. I honor you and I appreciate you and I love you for everything that you are and that you've become and that you're going to be for everyone out there in the world. So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you.
And thank you for me and sharing your platform with me. And it's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. So thank you guys for joining us as well. I'm going to still manage the comments below. So feel free to ask questions. Oh, Jose says, me too. I love taking food pictures. Join the club. Join the club. All right. So today and every Thursday, as you know, is your weekly high dose of forward thinking and revolutionary content that encourages you to discover the passions that lead you to your purpose. And that's why I have lovely people like Beatriz on my show. So definitely find her on beatrizmieses.com and find her on Facebook and social media. And as always, we are here for you. And I will see you on the purpose and passionful side. Talk to you guys soon. Bye, Beatriz.
Bye.